tuned to the Dynamic Duo, Reese and Ira, on the corner, Real Talk Corner. Real Entertainment Network.
Ira and Reese. The talk is still real. We still on the corner. We gonna touch on some topics.
SKN, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, we got topics. Let's have a discussion. The people got questions. The people want answers. Yeah, it's real talking. It's real talk. It's real talking. It's real talk. It's real talking. Real talk. It's real talking. Real talk. Yeah.
Ira and Reese.
Dynamic
The
duo.
talk is still real. We still on the corner.
Real talk.
We gonna touch on some topics.
It's real talking, it's real talk. It's real talking, it's real talk. It's real talking, real talk. It's real talking, real talk, yeah.
Check it out. You're now in tune with Iran Reese. Iran Reese, Iran Reese, Iran. Iran Reese. It's good to be back, you know. It's good to be back. What's up?
Yeah, man. I've been gone for some time, but we're back again, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything cool, man. What going on with you?
I good, I good. I had to take a little break, you know. I went on a little adventure to a small Caribbean country called St. Kitts and Nevis. But I stayed in Nevis mainly. You know what I mean? So But anyway, we can get to that. We can get to that. How are you doing?
When I go there, I hear cooling, you know what I mean? Living on the as usual, you know, making it through day by day.
Yeah, yeah. And we also we just came from the 50 Cent concert. That was a good time. I got to spend some time with my brothers, Um Reese and Alan, having a good time with them, So that was awesome, awesome experience. You know
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Was a great show. You know, 50 being of my favorite rap was a show that I had to attend. So it was a good vibe. Good vibe, you know?
Definitely, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely
man.
a good vibe. But we're not gonna be too long tonight. We were expecting a guest, but unfortunately, the guest cannot make it. Uh, you know how that go in this business. You have to be ready to go whenever, however. Um, but the topic is still going to be Culturama. The question is, are we really ready for Culturama 50? I mean, ready or not, it's gonna be next year, but certain things that we would like to probably see for Culturama 50 are put in place for Culturama 50. I could give a first-hand experience of what I saw this Culturama and Culturama 49, the forgotten Culturama, I like to call it. I felt like everyone forgot about it, but you know, also my just a little bit about my experience in Nevis, place that I love so much. Um, I don't want nobody feel like me a talk bad about Nevis. I'm just pointing out things that I saw. But Reese, I know you would have spoken about Culturama last week. So um
Well, your first an account, and I could say, I could interpret what you say, or how you feel.
yeah. So we could break it down into pieces. We could talk about fets. We could talk about shows. We could talk about crowds. We could talk about foods because this is culture, right? So people gotta understand that in Culturama, there is food involved, right? And I guess that's a part of why we have the food fear. And the culture is your language, your foods, all that stuff that make up the people. It's not just Makajombi and them kind of stuff there, you know, and the music. It's not just music. I think primarily people focus on the music and the atmosphere and the partying. Um, so, what did I see for Culturama? Well, first of all, the village where a lot of the action is supposed to be, the Culturama village, I think was poorly attended until the last night. The last night it was ram. It was packed, Reese. It was ram pack. The last night gave me the vibe of, I think, the Culturama weekend. You know that Culturama weekend? Yeah. But the village was poorly attended. Okay, so we're gonna talk about that. That's a point. Um, so yeah, I I'm not sure why people weren't going to the village. Um, I felt like the what you call it, vendors, the boot owners the boot owners they suffered a lot during this Culturama because of the poor attendance in the village. Another thing was you couldn't leave the shows, Aries. So once upon a time, I would maybe go down in the village and get something from down there. I do understand that there are booths, on the side there, but I used to have that option to go in the village and get something as well. That option, I guess, was removed because of the security. I, I guess, security requested that. Um, it was a request that the security brought forward to the Culturama committee that they stop re-entry, and I guess the Culturama committee listened and accepted it. So I know in a lot of places, we have events like the 50 Cent concert that we just went to. It was the same thing. You can't leave the venue. There's no re-entry. So I guess they're looking at that from an international standpoint. And that's all fine and dandy. But if we're gonna start to looking at one aspect of international standard, then we're gonna have to start to look at a lot of different aspects of international standard, right? And start to get those in place. Um, because of that, the village stayed empty for a long time because there was no atmosphere outside of the Culturama complex. There was no atmosphere out there. Out there was like a ghost town. It was dead. Usually you go by the Culturama complex outside, people by the village, that kind of vibe, like that festive vibe. It wasn't there. It just wasn't there this year. There was nothing. It just didn't have the feel. So what might have happened was I think the Culturama spirit never entered Nevis this year. It wasn't in the people this year. So maybe that's why the people never made it to the village and that kind of stuff. I went by a couple bars and stuff. They ain't playing no Culturama music. I'm there talking to the vendors and asking them, well, what going on? Their thing is Culturama, not the cape. And I'm like, well, actually, something is really keeping, but you got to create a vibe too. You got to create an atmosphere. Now, one of the concerns that was expressed to me is that if they start playing music, because a lot of these shops, the village shops, they're within villages, they would have gotten their permission. Like police would have ended up coming there and telling lock off the music or what. And I was like, during Culturama, it should be understood that you're going to the villages of Nevis, and everywhere you go, you're hearing Culturama music. We're building this atmosphere, we're building this vibe, the spirit in the air that Culturama is here. Weeks before Culturama, you expect that kind of atmosphere there to build up. You expect that kind of vibe there. Um, but that wasn't happening. It was just it was just dead. It was just dead. And I had a good time though, you know. So I had a good time because I know how to enjoy myself, and I spent money to reach to Nevis, and I decided I can enjoy myself on all accounts. You hear me? Um, you want to get in anything, Reese?
Okay.
If you yeah, if you want to get in anything,
So
just
so let
let
me
me know.
tell you, because after we had this conversation Saturday night as well, right?
Mhm.
We were talking about it, me and Ella. And I started thinking back on different carnivals, festivals around the Caribbean that I would have attended. And
Mhm.
you know what I noticed? We have a tendency of having, like, let's say we have Queen Show. There's
Mhm.
nothing else going on but Queen Show. You have Calypso Show, there's nothing else going on. And when I started looking at different islands, I started realizing that some islands got Queen Show and got Big Fete at the same time, yeah? So they
Yeah.
ain't just Queen Show alone. You know what I mean? So you ain't forced to go one place if you want to lime. We have this thing where we have to go one place. You know, and I started with it, and one of the things I realized this year was with Anguilla, where
Mhm.
Anguilla had Queen Show, and
Mhm.
then Anguilla had Destra performing the same night. So if you want to go Queen Show, you go Queen Show. And if you want to go Destra and the other local bands, you go there. We have this thing where it's either you're going to go Queen Show or you ain't going to place. You're going Calypso Show, I got to wait until Calypso Show to go Village. I don't.
Gotcha.
I don't. I think that's something we need to change. Give me options because
Yeah, options.
anybody want
Um,
Queen Show,
yeah, yeah,
anybody want. Give me something
that's
else.
what that's one thing. That's one thing I would agree with. I was gonna bring up a point. Maybe most of these other Caribbean countries, festivals that you're talking about, the country has a larger population to facilitate, um, that double events and that kind of stuff there. But when I just looked up Anguilla's population, it's roughly the same. It's 15,000. So if Anguilla could find some kind of model that works for them in that way, then yes.
Well,
But
not only that, right, Eric? Because
mhm.
you can compare the population of Anguilla and Saint Martin, and Saint Martin will come over. Same way how we have Saint Kitts coming over.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I forgot
You
St.
know,
Martin is close.
we also have a group of people coming over
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah,
may not be vested in nobody in the Queen Show, but if you give them a Masters RAC collision, they're gonna go to that.
yeah.
They're not gonna go Queen Show. They might not even care about Calypso Show, but you give them something to do, they might enjoy that. So we need to stop having this idea where you only gonna have one event at a time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're right, because you're not only appealing to the population of Nevis, you want to appeal to your neighboring islands, and the closest neighbor is St. Kitts. Um, the problem, Doris, right? The problem is the idea of what Culturama is. And I think because of the idea of what Culturama is, it has remained stagnant.
What is the idea
You
about
know,
Culturama?
to me it's more of a heritage preservation, right? To me it's more of a heritage preservation, and Sylvester Pemberton has a lengthy comment there that I'm going to get to shortly. But to me it's more of a heritage preservation. It's not so much about, let me not say that. So the reason why I say heritage preservation is because we have to remember that culture is evolving, right? We have to remember that culture is evolving. So when we start hearing the talks of this is not our culture, you're correct. It may not be your culture from the um 1974, right? Because it doesn't look the same now. The foods that we eat are different now. The way that we even speak is differently. The way that we dress, you know, um, different aspects of that 1974 Culturama has already died out. You can remember seeing people dressed up in some old English wear. People of our generation knows nothing about that. I know nothing about that. I only see and hear about it. The Japanese, whatever, these different parts of, because that was once the culture, but the culture is evolving, and I think because of that, when you look at who, like, the people that surrounds culture. I'm not necessarily gonna say who's in charge of culture, Rama. I'm gonna say the people that surround Culturama, because it's like an island. Culturama is the island, and there's a water, and around the water there's a bunch of sharks swimming, and with those sharks swimming, they have an influence on the festival. That influence that they have on the festival is hampering the festival's growth, right?
Okay.
Because we're afraid to accept that it looks different now. Our culture looks a lot different now.
Okay,
Go
so
ahead.
here, give me a question I want to know. And anybody who in the comments let me know, what is our culture?
I,
What is our culture?
so I mean, I could give you some aspects of our culture. I mean, the first thing we have to do is look up the definition of culture, right? And I think we've said it on this show before. Um, when you define culture, because culture would be the okay. So here. Okay, let's go to this one. The customs, art, social institutions, and achievements of a particular nation, people, or other groups, right? Caribbean culture. The arts and other manifestation of human intellect achievements regarding collective. That's something else. But I would go with the second one, right? So
Okay,
it's going to involve your food. It's going to involve your music. It's going to involve the way we talk. Abi. You know what I mean?
okay,
That's a part
okay.
of our culture, right?
So what we're going to do right now is dissect it.
Hmm.
Queen shit not a part of our culture. We took that from another culture.
No,
Steam pan originate. Steam pan
so
originated in Trinidad. It's not a part of our culture. So when we
okay,
start picking and saying what is our culture, we have to realize that our culture is ever evolving. We have an influx of people from all around the world. Our culture can change. So I hate to hear people say, "Oh, yo, this is not our culture." Our culture is out in the change. What is our national dish? What, saltfish and dumpling? We don't
yeah,
make flour. We
okay,
don't
hold
import
on.
saltfish. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
that's crazy. That's wild. I've always said that it could have been dumpling from like breadfruit flour or something. But um, when you say queen show is not a part of our culture, so it's not the queen show that's on display, right? It is the ladies that are on display, and their talent. So their talent should reflect our culture. Their gowns and their evening wear should have actually reflect our culture. I've never heard anyone complain about the ladies evening wear not reflecting our culture. I've never heard that before, right? But I could always hear them complain about other aspects of our culture not being on display. Their talent is supposed to or their talent should also reflect our culture. So in some of the speech, you should hear some of the dialect, right? You should be able to hear them say some abi, some twang, whatever it is. If they can perform a song, you might hear them perform a song that is related to Nevis. If they're gonna sing a song, not go sing my Whitney Houston. You see what I'm saying? Because that's not our culture. But you might hear them sing the Patreon Flamingo song, one of his songs, because that's our culture. No, so the Queen Show is not our culture, but the display of what the ladies are putting forth should be a representation of our culture, right? I get what you,
The evening with the representation of Amazon Prime.
and Sheen and
No,
Sheen.
okay, good,
Yeah,
yes,
and Sheen.
okay.
And I've never heard anybody complain about that before. Right? I've never heard anyone complain about that. The swimsuit portion, it should represent our culture. What if you see some swimsuits with some shells? So my mom used to help out with chaperoning and them kind of stuff there. And those are the kind of things that you would expect. If you see a lady come out with a swimsuit and it's dust with like $100 or something, like use out things from our island. Those kind of things should be a representation of our culture. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. That could stray from the culture, and nobody complains, but everything else can't. And that is the problem. Let me see if I could find Sylvester's comment and read it real quick. Okay, so Sylvester said the boot owners barring murder. Just imagine Calypso semifinals was held up in Gingerland. Also, the Soca Monarch semifinals again in Gingerland. Have mercy while Village shuts down and you sorry and you know after the big shows the Village cannot start music until all the shows completely finish. And you must people heading, Lord, have mercy. The big Juve morning, they all the bands and DJs at 12 just to accommodate to the great Herbert's Beach. Okay, yeah. So he has good points, right? Here we go. Here we go. So now Nevis's Culturama should be able to be spread throughout the island, right, Reese? But when you're gonna charge people to go inside the hold on.
I don't feel so. I don't feel
Well,
so.
well. At some point in time, Culturama was developed in Charleston, and then it can start to spread. But what I'm saying is, when you're gonna charge people to go in the booth, you have to be able to help them make that money. It's not just the money, it's the time. It's the time it takes. It's the time it takes for you to get your food in there. It's the time it takes for you to pack your fridge. It's the time you take to be there. Your hire staff, right? Culturama is supposed to be an economic stimulus. So when you're gonna push Culturama in one particular establishment and leave the people them that you're actually charging stranded, that's a bad call there. That's a bad
So
call.
I think this is my thing is if I am to pay for a boat, right,
Mm-hmm.
and you purposely move an event to the other side, I don't think I should pay for that night.
Hmm. I don't think they
I
pay
don't.
by the night. I
Yeah,
don't
I
think
don't.
they
No, I think no.
this
We have to prorate. No, we have to prorate that. No, no, you
get
can't even one flat fee, and you
get
no. That not make no sense. One. The
yeah.
second thing you just said, it should be spread through the island. And if
So
you tell me
so
you're gonna have like a little motorcade or whatever, I understand. But
so,
keep in
s
mind, well,
no, I was saying Tanya was saying that they used to keep things outside of outside Charleston, Dixbar and Conction and so
no, no,
so yeah.
but usually stuff like that is probably a private promoter or it is. But my thing
Yeah.
is, okay, you have Winfest. That's a village. That's a local festival for
Mm-hmm.
the windward side of the island. You have
Mm-hmm.
Jindarama. That's a festival for country. The capital is Charleston. Culturama should be held in Charleston. A private promoter could put even could hire a band and put them any place they want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could do that as a private person, but no, I don't agree with that.
I
No,
agree. I, agreed,
the part
agreed,
that
agreed.
Sylvester made again about the Herbert speech thing, I think I've made my sentiments known about that. I don't think you should force somebody to go no one direction. So that's stupidness.
Okay, so this self-interest, and we're gonna just have to call it what it is. This self-interest has to stop. The self-interest has to stop. Forcing people to go to Herbert's Beach and killing the activity in Charlestown. That has to stop. That cannot be the trend for C50. It cannot be the trend for C50. They need to done with that. Because I went to Herbert's Beach. I went over there and it wasn't spectacular and it wasn't worth it. And I feel like there was more going on in Charlestown, right? And a lot of people are not going to venture over there. So what's going to happen is people just getting home. People just getting home. You know what I mean? People are just gonna go home and they're just killing the vibe. That needs to stop. And
So
it's self-interest. It is
so
self-interest.
my issue with Howard speech is multi-layered. The first part of Howard speech about me is safety. Because you're gonna tell me after jury morning, drinking, you want people know to go drive you all the way over there?
They're gonna still drive. They're gonna still drive,
It,
please.
that's a safety hazard.
They
That's
can
the
still
first
do
thing.
it.
You know what I mean?
They can still do it.
Even though I believe, you know, it is what it is. But hey, that's a
They
safety
can
hazard.
they can still drive.
It-
So
yeah,
that
but we
no.
have
Yeah.
right. The second thing is, and I always feel that we should have a second band on the apron. I think the first band should play during Juve, and at 12 o'clock the band should switch. Adidas should play, and then the second band should come on. I think we need to keep people in town. I don't believe there's so much beach business need to be mandatory. We don't need to
L-
shut down everything for them because remember the outside festival again, and this year Howard Beach is a part of Winfest. Don't shut down town.
Long
People
jam
from
needs to stop too.
people from St. Kitts coming up to go jump up. They ain't gonna right. So I gonna do shut down town. Tell them about St. Kitts. So they come with a pocket full of money, but let us spend the money out here.
Yeah. Yeah. Herbert's Beach needs to like not saying Herbert's Beach can't go on, but when you can shut down everything in town because of Herbert's
No,
Beach,
really and truly,
that's
Howard Beach shouldn't
crazy.
go on. Howard Beach should be a part of Winfest.
I mean, that's a
Howard Beach
good
should be a part of
suggestion.
it. Howard
And
Beach should be
I
a part of it and done with it.
yeah, I mean, I think that's a good idea. I don't see why it can't be a part of Winfest. But but the government has bought land to facilitate Herbert's Beach parking, right? Which which is absurd to me, you know. Like what? Like no.
I don't care.
No, you can't do that, star. You can't do that.
And
No,
and
rewind that.
hold on. The
Rewind
second thing too, I want to knock out the second one time. I
that.
heard somewhere this week that the suggestion was made that Randy should be moved from Monday night to facilitate Howard Beach going longer. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Who said that?
Bullshit.
Who said
Bullshit.
that? Who
Bullshit.
said who's well,
Bullshit.
but who said that? Who said that? Who said that? Who said that?
All right.
Like who said that should happen? Like who like who would
I
really
think
say
could have
that?
been Minister Jeffers, Honorable Jeffers. Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
He said
Bullshit.
that? No,
Okay.
I hope you're not telling a lie on the man here upon the show. No, that's wild though. No, Randy's show uh is a good show. You know. The only thing is he probably like the after Juve sometimes hard, but it still was well attended compared to all the other shows. You know what I mean? Compared to all the other shows, it's the only show that I saw seating on the south side almost full, right?
Randy show is the second biggest second biggest event for Culturama to me.
Or when you're talking about Wet Fest
No,
as
I would
event,
actually go with
one,
like 4 and 1, 5 and 1, whatever it is.
5 in 1.
Yeah, there wasn't a show. It wasn't fair.
Oh, I mean, it's a pre-Culturama event, right? So I don't
Yeah.
know if it's really considered Culturama because it doesn't happen during the 2 week calendar period of Culturama. So unless they're gonna start to squeeze it within that 2 week calendar period of Culturama, it is a pre-Culturama event. Wet Fete is huge. I don't know if you realize that. Wet Fete is huge as well. The youngsters really do support Wet Fete. I didn't go to Wet Fete, but they support Wet Fete. And so yeah, so the shows now. Let's talk about the shows. Reese's favorite part of Culturama, the shows. The first show went down with a little hiccup. Well, a huge hiccup, I guess. The
Which
timing.
was
I guess it went late. At 3 o'clock in the morning. The reason why it's a problem, Reese, it's because of course the village cannot have any activity until the show is over. So at 3 o'clock in the morning, you can't even strike up the band. You can't have people in the village. Well, you can have people in the village, but people are not going to be in the village. So the economical stimulus is not there, right? The economical stimulus is not there. And so they have to be able to manage that. Now, I've heard they should start this show earlier. No, absolutely not. You cannot start that show earlier.
what time did the show start?
I don't even know what time it
And
starts.
secondly, what the show did the show start on time?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the problems were with the show. Why it went late. I inquired about it. I That is one of the shows that I did not go to. I think that show was actually the first night I came in because it was this Sunday. I came in this Sunday and I just went straight into action and I didn't go to that show. So that show I really cannot give you feedback in terms of the flow of the show, right? In terms of the flow of the show, I cannot give you feedback in terms of the flow of the show.
Okay,
But
so
whatever it is, it went extremely long. It went late.
okay. Oh, Tanya, you said no, the venues being next to each other. Um, really and truly, too, the the complex need an overhaul. Completely need to be redone because of the acoustics of the venue. For those who don't realize, the sound actually drifts towards Bar Hotel. So you sitting in the crowd. If there's any hiccup with the sound system, you realize it's quickly that you can't hear because the sound goes towards Bar Hotel. So the complex needs a complete redesign.
Yeah, and that's not happening, Reese. GG, I'm not sure if that property is in court. It's possible. It's possible it's the same property that's held up in court. But hey, hey. Um, what else? Yeah, Reese, that is not going to happen. You know it's not gonna happen because there's other stuff that they need to be done. So apparently there is a plan for the complex. They plan to do certain things. You could go down to the Culturama office and see the plans. I've been told I didn't do it and see what they're planning to do. I've heard some of the plans. I'm not going to repeat what they are because I don't know if it's true. I don't want to put anybody, you know, on a spot. I don't know how it's gonna benefit. I didn't like I didn't like the placement of the VIP area, and everybody wants to be VIP now, so but I guess we just need to have that experience. Hopefully there's some kind of change to facilitate that VIP experience as well, especially if you're paying $280 for a ticket. Um, I'm not gonna say much about VIP itself, but um, yeah. So the next show we could talk about is Panorama, Reese. I think you had some comments you wanted to make about Panorama, but Panorama. I know you say the pan thing is not a part of our culture, but we've accepted it. We've
No, we've
accepted it.
accepted it. I am
Yeah.
okay with it. I understand that we live in a ever changing culture, but
Hmm.
when it comes to the pants, one of the things that I noticed is that there were a lot of opportunities. Right? Not even the pants that went in for the 5 and 5, but
Hmm.
the pan orchestras that started the show. There were a lot of opportunities for more music to be played, and I think a lot of the arrangers took the simple way out. Um, like for example, one of the songs that was played was Mark Anthony. I think it was called "Viva la Vida" or something like that, right? But in that song itself, there are breaks in the song which the pan orchestra that played that song didn't acknowledge any of the breaks. The drummer didn't break, the percussion didn't break anything, But things like that make the music song a lot fuller. So I think the arrangers for these pans need to actually go back and actually put some time, more time into it to make the music song more fun.
Hmm. Okay. That's your field. Once it comes to music and so I will just take it for you. Um, I had a good time. My problem with it was why was it in the cultural complex, right? Something like that where it's supposed to be festive and dancing and that type of atmosphere. So what I heard was people complain. People complain. They want to be able to sit down. Put a few chairs in there then. Put a few chairs in the village for all the people who want to sit down. Um,
No, that's perfectly fine. If people want to sit down, that's perfectly fine. If you look at Trinidad's event, they do it in the national stadium, and you have people on the field, but you also have people in the stands. If you want to
yeah, but
sit, you go in the stands.
yeah, there's no feel. So are you saying maybe keep it at Grove Park? Sorry,
Keep it in the
El
park, or keep it in the
El
villa,
El
keep it
El
wherever.
Camino Park. Yeah, some place where you have the option where you could sit down, but you also have the option where you can dance freely and you don't
Yeah,
have to worry about the person behind you, somebody trying to come through the aisle when you're party or dance and you're having a good time,
you
and
know.
these are the kind of things that they have to look at for
And
Culturama 50.
I think if they put it in a venue like that, that is bigger, you
Mm-hmm.
then give the pan groups the option of having the entire band, because what I
Mm-hmm.
saw is that they had five pans and you had the option of a percussionist, a drummer, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
taking out just something as simple as taking out the cowbell or taking out the iron changes the sound of the music so much that it
Mm-hmm.
sounds empty. Yes, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna have your antics and you're gonna be dancing and blah blah blah, but you're missing a lot of the sound. So a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these pan orchestras who've been playing as a full orchestra for the
Mm-hmm.
entire year to enter the competition as an orchestra, not no
Mm-hmm.
5 on 5. What this is, pick up basketball.
I mean, they had the 5 on 5 was just a part of it, but the other thing is
No, no, no. The five
because
on five was the competition. No, no. The competition was the 5 on 5. That's what you gotta realize. The
they had
five
two
on five was the
parts.
actual. No,
They
the
not had two
steel
parts.
orchestras, the ones that started out, those were just the intro into the show, but the actual judging part, where they had the test tune from this and that, was actually the 5 on 5.
Mm-hmm.
That's why before the 5 on 5, they went to the criteria because those were the ones that were being judged.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. I wasn't aware of that, but that keeping it in a larger venue could also, like you said, facilitate that. But it could also facilitate all the orchestras could already be set up, so you ain't have
Everybody
to.
play one
Yeah,
one after the other.
yeah.
You don't have this
No,
big
no
gaps.
breakdown, and nobody will set up, and nobody will put back. You know what I mean? Like, what is all of that? Like, you gotta
And
start to think about efficiency of your flow, bro. So,
and and the most disappointing thing was you have Flamingo being your patron of Culturama, and your test tune was not even a song from Flamingo.
no,
Was not
no,
even a song. You
no.
okay? I get it is a you get a local song, but this
At
is not this and
least
that year. This and that year, but this is Flamingo's year. Why do we have a song from this and that?
that's that's something I can't understand,
These are the
and
kind of things that we don't think about.
they don't think about. You can't say we because you just brought it up, right? I think it's something that they I just want to say I hope they overlooked it, and it's not intentional. I don't think it would be intentional, but something like that, you would think, you have the patron who is a calypsonian, and well, what's the homage that you're paying to this patron, right? What's the homage that you're paying to the patron? You have that competition piece that you could pay homage to him and say, hey, pick a flamenco song. Okay, this is the flamenco song. Let's run this through. Um, what's the next show? What's the next show? Swimsuit show. Swimsuit. Swimsuit show went. The girls them did well, and I think because of the hard work of the girls and their chaperone, there haven't been a lot of criticism about that show in particular, right? Outside of that, though, the environment, man. Of course, the cultural complex again, and you need to facilitate the village in some way, and also the vendors in the cultural complex. But we have to be able to create that real environment that I feel like it's a swimsuit, like. I don't know. I guess I was spoiled by the swimsuit competition being held next to a pool in the old time days by old man and kind of stuff. That kind of environment that used to be nice to me. But I ain't gonna say much about the swimsuit competition. I just hope that the quality and the standard that they had this year, that they're able to elevate it next year, right? You're able to elevate it next year. That's all. Soca Monarch. Soca Monarch. So the weirdest thing happened in Soca Monarch. Soca Monarch, okay, they did the right thing. They had the Soca Monarch in the cultural village, right? They had the Soca Monarch in the cultural village. But this is what they did incorrectly. And I'm not here to just point out all the faults, because I'm gonna say some of the things that they got right. But the judges, so you remember how the village is, it's just the stage is elevated, and then you have this zone where you have the distance away from the stage, and there's a tent with this zone. But then the judges are on the same plane as the audience, right? So where the audience is expected to gather, the judges are behind there, sitting down in a table beneath the audience. So the judges them actually had to stand up to kind of see what going on with the competition. You see what I'm saying? And I looked at it and I'm like, whose wonderful idea is that? That the judges are at that um elevation. They're lower. They needed to think about that. They needed to think about that. And they needed to find some place to put the judges. Even if they had the judges in an area that's fenced off closer to the front or something. I don't know. They have a VIP section upstairs. They built one for VIP. Maybe they need to start to think about building something for the judges, but they should have been on an elevated platform. Also, the judges need to have a monitor. They need to have a monitor in front of them. The judges need to be able to hear these artists like better than anybody else. You know, the artist then cannot be at fault because the judges can't hear them well. So all of that is a part of the issue that I had with the Soca Monarch. Um, Other than that, kudos to the artists them for coming out with their music and singing their songs and putting on their performance. But I would encourage them now to study the art form of performance, because the art form is not to just go out there and sing your song. Your song, you go in the studio, you sing your song, you create an album version of your song. You're not expected to go out there and do the same for your song. You sing your verse, yeah, but you have to be able to get the crowd in it. You have to be able to get crowd participation. You have to be able to command the crowd, command the audience, have the audience do as you please. Be like the Pied Piper. And that is the problem that they have. But go ahead. Hold it off. Your turn, Reese.
Alright. So, Soca Monarch. First thing first. First thing first is Soca Monarch prize money is too small. No error. Um, like I was saying, like I said last week. With Aaron, I watched St. Vincent Soca Monarch, and this dude, Terry the Governor, he win, and his prize was 80,000 EC dollars. So you're looking at about 30,000 US dollars. Now I was talking to my partner down there, and I say, "Yo, what going on?" And he explained to me, say, "Yo, before these guys would have never do stuff like this, but for the time, the man up the money, and people really get that chance of really making money. Man start to fly in people. Man start to buy songs, so we can just write a mediocre song out there. Man start to contact writers who do write for Marshall and Destra and things like that to write song for them. Start to get the music professionally done. They start to they start to invest in their craft because they realize there's a chance of making a living, right? So if you want to pay me $5,000, By the time I done go and record, mix, master, get a costume, get probably 3 or 4 people to go on stage with me. Even if I win, I don't make no money. So we need to incentivize the thing. We need to give people a reason to be a part of this thing. You know. But right now, the way we set up, if I were them, I wouldn't put too much into it either. Really and truly, even if you win, I don't even feel like you'll break even unless you're lucky and somebody give you free studio time. You might know somebody who could mix and master your track for you. You know really break even. So we need to start investing in the competition for these artists to be willing to invest in the craft. Your mic off.
Yeah, and I agree with you. JT said next year is a car them I work for, and it would be if you could get a car, you should be able to get the cash. The cash, I think, is a better attraction than the car. But you know what I mean? For one, a car, a vehicle is a liability. Yeah? So if I want a vehicle, I could buy it with the cash. But what if I don't want a vehicle? Then I'm not interested. So I agree with you, Reese. $80,000 might be out of reach. Um, just because Culturama has not been elevating its standards over the years. So, maybe sponsorship is going to fall short. But if they're not already working at the sponsorship right now, if they're not already working at getting these prizes right now, then it's a problem. Now, the other question I have for you is where does where does bad mind come into play? Because
Bad,
I
bad mind.
I might yeah, I might want these man get $80,000. Who? Them there? $80,000 for what? You get what I'm saying? So maybe in some people's mind, and $80,000 might be too much to give them. You know, and I hope that is not the case. I hope that is not the
Okay.
case, but
I
I have to think
I
in
gonna
different. Huh?
I gonna share something now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're gonna just use Culturama for example.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me who was Culturama Queen 2004. You know who was Culturama Queen 2004?
No.
No, but you know working on the battery, right?
Yeah, but I didn't
Okay,
know that.
hold
I
on, hold
don't.
on.
I
Well, hold on. You don't know who was Culturama Queen 2007, but you're not searching, right? So
yeah, but
music
I
got a
don't.
lot further than so we have to invest in what goes farthest.
I mean, I mean, I searching was the road march. I can't tell you that it was 2007. And I would also say I met one of the queens in the airport, and I asked the queen what year, queen, what number you were, and she couldn't answer either. So, I mean, like she couldn't even
No,
remember what number she was, but I know she
no, but
was a queen. If you
we
see
need
a
to
queen, you're
really
gonna know that she was a queen.
invest right in
Hmm.
in it. We need to, and it's not just for the music. We need to invest in everything. Okay, we need to invest. Like I look at some calypso shows, right, and I see some of the things these calypsonians doing. Them man ain't just coming on stage and singing this song like no regular man. Yeah? Them man ain't just coming up grabbing the mic, yeah, MC, sing this and walk off stage. Them man is actually performing. But
Hmm.
then when you look at it and you hear them man, them man perform for 25,000. Them man putting time into this thing. You know, I look at another thing where this dude from Trinidad was saying when he went in for Soca Monarch, he didn't even make it to the finals, and he had a personal trainer with he every day just for he breathing.
Hmm.
He put that kind of money into it because he know that at the end this is where you could get.
Yeah, it's
So
possible.
I don't blame the artist them because you're gonna end up spending more than what you put in. I can't see them breaking even unless
Okay,
everybody volunteer for free. Can't break even.
I would say also. I mean, the prizes, right? I what would you say would be the minimum that they could offer for Soca Monarch next year? Everything should be 50,000 because it's 50 at
No,
minimum.
the winner should be 50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, And then yeah, that's what we should do. Because again, cash like somebody said cash is king.
Cash is king.
Cash is king.
Cash is thing. Cash is thing.
But like you said, bad man is a serious thing though.
But how would you and what's your thoughts on the judges? And so one of the things you remember when Abernathy was on here, I said to him, "Bro, we need to be able to see these points. You guys need to show us these judges' scores. You know what I mean? Do you feel as if judges are a problem?
So
Because if you,
transparency is key, right?
yeah,
And I'll tell you, if you ever paid attention to some of the soccer, the international soccer monaco to Trinidad, where it's open for everybody, even Nietzsche would have been a part of it at one point. When you
yeah,
watch a live stream before the artist number one goes on stage,
mm-hmm.
before artist number two goes on
Two come
stage,
up, judge
the
score
points for number one is locked in.
locked in, yeah, and
So
shown.
I know the artist number one is 90.
Mm-hmm.
So number two, that 90 can't change. Yeah, they're gonna be above 90 or less than 90. Number three, same
Yeah,
thing. And
yeah,
that's what we need. We
and
need to have
and and
something that we can listen to right away.
and they already said they're using a digital, they're using a digital system. So they already have the ability to do it. They just need to display it. And they
And
refuse to do it. I don't know
the-
why.
this this the second thing too, you made a great point. The judges should have a monitor. There should be a speaker. The judges really should have their own mix,
Mm-hmm.
because again, what I listening for in the crowd, I may just want to have fun. But as a judge, you got criteria. You want to hear the music, you want to hear the lyrics, you want to hear everything. So they need to have something where they could hear everything by themselves. And they need to be in a room where they cannot be distracted. You can't have them in the crowd.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I see my cousin, buy okay now, da 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 da, but you might have just miss a big part. You might have just miss a big part of what this guy on the stage doing. Because I say, yo, what guy now, balang miss you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. They
Yeah.
need to be isolated.
Yeah. 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 They definitely do. A- apart from when they're judging crowd reaction and that kind of stuff, they should be able
Um,
to they should be able to see crowd reaction, but
and
it's
the room
rough.
should actually have the room should actually have in screens, eh?
I feel so.
The room should actually have in screens
It
where
would have to
they
have
could
in
look,
screens.
they have one camera facing the stage and one camera facing the crowd. So if they can't see the crowd directly, they could look at the screen.
Yeah.
Um, Lionel got something here. Who's going to promote these songs around the region? Nevis has some good soca songs, but I'm not
Not being
sure.
heard. So I'm gonna get
Um,
to that too. I'm gonna get to that. But go ahead,
you
Reese.
want to?
No, no, go ahead.
Okay,
Say
well,
what you were gonna say.
so a lot of these songs that we consider to be good songs are really good songs, but a lot of these songs, the work on some of them ain't really the best, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even some of them, the mix ain't as clean as it should be. And again, this is just one of the things that people invested in their craft. But if no money coming in, they can't go and spend all the money on a mix. You know, for example, one of the best songs I hear come out of Nevis for a long time was actually "Peace of the Road."
Mm-hmm.
But if you only get $3,000 for your circle one every piece of the road, then how much could you even put into promoting the song?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the sad reality of what it is.
No, you see, I think that might just be a lack of um, foresight, right? Because music could actually bring people to our shores. Music has
Ah,
brought people
oh
to
my
Trinidad
gosh,
shores. Music
oh
has
my
brought people
gosh.
to Jamaican shores. Music is now bringing people to the Windward Island shores. You know what I mean? They, it's just a lack of foresight, I think it is. And if we really, I I don't know if they don't realize all these other Caribbean countries got beaches and sunshine and s- you know everything else we're offering. So the only thing that Nevis has different to them is the people and our culture. So Culturama is really supposed to be one of our main, and that's why you see Culturama and tourism working hand in hand. You have the tourism marketing director, also the marketing director of Culturama. But Culturama and tourism are really supposed to be hand in hand, right? If you're not bringing them
Mm-hmm.
because of Culturama, right? If you're not bringing them because of Culturama, then you should actually make them want to come because they hear your music, they see the food on display, the beautiful people, the kindness, whatever it is. That's
Hey,
all.
Ira,
Yeah.
Ira.
Mm.
You know what all these places, all these places they just talk about, what they did?
What?
They have a weekend. They have a carnival weekend. Uh, a weekend a party. Then they're gonna Queen Show and Calypso show in the main weekend. Them not got none of that. And when you got Queen Show and everything shut down until Queen Show down 4 o'clock in the morning, who gonna pay money for that? That's a whole night you
Reese.
just miss.
Queen
Bullshit.
Show is
Ah
not.
bullshit. Ah bullshit.
Queen Show is not finishing at 4 o'clock in the morning. Stop it.
Okay, let's say 2 o'clock. I could have been
So
partying from 10. Most Caribbean islands, I go to a party from 9 o'clock. Let's be
when
real. Let's be, let's be real, man.
so Culturama has now become a nostalgic event, right? Culturama is the target. It seems like for Culturama is
Senior citizens.
not just senior citizens, but like
Okay.
us, right? Somebody
No,
like
no,
when we
no,
go
no,
to
no, no,
Culturama, it's
no,
gonna
no,
be a
no, no,
nostalgic
no, no,
type event.
no, 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 no. I get in the call when I go culture, I just go because I from Nevis and I'm around to see 1 or 2 people. When
Yeah,
I when I want when
nostalgia.
I don't when I want to go party, culture is not number one on my list.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Nostalgia. The nostalgia
Yeah,
is
yeah.
what bringing you back to Nevis. Nostalgia is what's bringing everybody from the diaspora to Nevis. It has nothing to do with what they're offering, you know. It has nothing to do with the events. It has nothing to do with the promotion. It's just strictly nostalgia. It's just that I want to be in Nevis for Culturama because I remembered it when I was growing up, when I was there. You know, that is what's bringing people to Culturama right now. Now, how are you gonna escape that nostalgic effect? You have to have other things that's gonna bring other people to the shores, right? If that's what they want, if that's what they want. But when you're walking through the streets of Charlestown and there's no feel of festivity, the walls are like like this house, you know, just bland, like just really nothing, no paintings, no murals of legends in bright colors, you know, it has no vibe. It has no vibe. There was no vibe in the air. The vibe, it was voided of the vibe. You see what I'm saying? It was
Let me
voided
ask you.
of the vibe.
Let me ask you a question. What time the church really close? As a
Of
after. What time the church really close? 4.
4 o'clock, yeah.
Okay. So for example, the ch- the treasury apron from 4:30. We supposed to go back on the treasury apron. Friday afternoon,
Yep.
music in talk.
Yep.
Music in talk. Many people Charlie
Mm.
Masquerade coming to
Mm.
town.
Mm. 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 That's not the treasury anymore. That's the tourism authority place.
What
So
time? What time? What time?
they they could bend.
But they, oh,
They
they're
could
part of
bend.
culture.
Yeah,
They're
they
part of
could
culture.
bend. They could bend. They could
So
bend. They could
so really and
definitely
truly,
bend.
so here's where I gonna go different now.
Mm-hmm.
For them, it should be half day
Mm-hmm.
and 12 o'clock music.
Yeah, not even half. They're still working, you know, because they're a part of Culturama. Tourism and Culturama goes hand in hand.
Let's get this thing going.
Yeah, straight.
Let's get this thing going.
Get the
Shut down the
party
tongue.
ready,
You want block out some parts, no cars will come through. Let me get some masquerade in the middle of the tongue. Over on the
bro.
side, let me get a little string band over there. Let me get some
Yeah,
turn on.
Bill vibe. build the vibe, create the
Let,
atmosphere.
let, me, let me feel like when I walk in this section, yeah,
Yeah,
I ready.
yeah,
Yeah, I ready. When I
yeah,
come in, I could just take off my shirt and I gone.
yeah, yeah.
We need them kind of vibes.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You know, people would say, bring back the old, bring back the old street jamming and pre-jamming and so. No, that yeah, that's good. We would need that, but you need more things, like you're saying. You need more of that. I'm not supposed to leave down by the Arthur Evelyn building, right, and walk up by the police station and up the quiet. Reach by Grove Park and I can't hear nothing. You know what I mean? Like, no, that whole strip supposed to just be vibe, just
Vibes.
vibe, just vibe, straight,
And
straight vibe.
every day they're supposed to got they're supposed to hire two DJ and put them in town.
Okay,
One by
now,
the
so let
Charleston bus stop, one by the other bus stop, and let them man go.
so you bring up
Let me
DJ
feel I
now.
mean there.
You bring up DJ now. You bring up DJ. I know how you feel about the soca artists and their late releases, but the DJs are not playing the local music. You're not playing the local music. One of the things that I can say without a doubt is that I wasn't hearing any local music during Culturama. And the shows and nothing they were playing the local music. It should be a requirement if these DJs ain't got the common sense to play the local music. It should be a requirement that they play the local music because our culture is supposed to be on display. My culture is not to always hear the Trini soca. I understand it has to be played because you're not just going to play our local music, but the majority we should be hearing our local music, and the DJ is not playing it at all. When me mean at all, my good friend Marvin Lewis, big him up. He just turned 40, and he bought there. He said real
Big
talk.
up, blessings, blessings,
Say he said real
blessings.
talk ain't showed him up, but we ain't been on the ear. I don't know what
Yeah,
happened to
yeah,
he.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, yeah, but he was at the food fair and he ain't play. I don't even think he play one local song. You know what I mean? Let me not say one local song, but none of the new music. Them man ain't they're not rotating the local music enough. Reese, one thing I know about music is the more you hear it, the more you get in tuned with it. Right? You know that song that you hear, but I mean I like the song there. I mean I like the song there. Every time me go me hear the song there. Buy the song there. Next minute you'll sing the song. So we have to start playing the music, and they're not playing the music. They're not doing it. But you know what? They're looking for a blight. So what I am gathering is that the DJs don't want. They don't want to. We're getting back to the bad mind thing. They don't want to push the local artists because they want to do it for them. They want to do it for the man them.
So,
They want to do it for the
so
man
I,
them.
so I agree that should be a prerequisite, right?
Yeah.
Um, that you should have local music in your set. Me want to hear the Jamaican music. Me want to hear the Trinidad music. Yes, give me a little singers music where you want to, but I want to hear. I want to hear me music.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'll give you a good example, right? I ain't do a money pull up in a long time. But you know, if I hear a band play Handaman,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you,
Yeah. Yeah. Drop it.
money pull up, money
Yeah.
pull
Drop
up.
it.
What do you mean? Because a lot of people don't know these songs.
Even
But
a
these are
DJ.
songs that are part. These songs are part of the culture.
Yeah.
And these men supposed to be playing these kind of music. You get hired for a culture event, say
Mm-hmm.
culture music.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
No,
Highlight your culture.
right. I agree with you. And I want to big up the Odyssey band because I went to one of the sessions and they jam Odyssey band music. And I said to, I think it was Easy. I said, Easy, you must feel really good. You must feel really good because even though the crowd was small, the people that was in the village, they turned out, brother. They went on bad in the village, Reese. And
Because
Odyssey was just playing Odyssey songs. And I say,
But
you guys gotta
you
feel
know, it
real good.
is people didn't realize these songs that you create, they leave an impression on us. Yeah, we might not want to hear them all year long, but you got the time when you're gonna play them and yo,
Mm-hmm.
but I remember that song they bad for you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
if you're
Because
gonna
it
play
has
more
now
hits,
marinated.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
of course, you know what I mean. So that's why I like to see them and spend more time focusing on their craft
Yeah.
and playing their own music.
I
Yeah,
loved it. But I'm pleading
yeah.
for the DJs them in Nevis to do better. Please.
And let me bring up something too, cause a lot of DJs, they say well, them and not pay me, so me not play the music. And Marshall not pay you, but they play Marshall
Yeah.
music.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Popcorn never see you, but you play
Yep. Yep.
popcorn
Yep.
music. You ain't know who the hell
Yep.
Valiant is, but you play music. What wrong with you?
Yep. 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 Yep.
You know, support your fellow man.
Yeah. Yeah. Like during the Culturama there was a little friendly they say it's not a clash, man call it a clash. Right? But is it was an exhibition between um DJ Smudge and SG Presidential. And
Mm.
none of those guys played a single local song, a single culture armor song in the exhibition. That was a time when they were supposed to be highlighting their skill, and none of them chose to play a thing. I heard
But
Afrobeat, I heard dancehall, I heard everything else, and I was like, let Iron get me on the stage up there. Let me
no,
even
but
get me on the stage up there.
let me show you something, right? Imagine you got a little clash.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine me and you a clash right now. Me and you got a little clash. And I pull out a speedy dub. No matter what happen, me win, you know? Cause you ain't got to go find popcorn and them man. Me pull out a local dub, me win.
Well, that's if I'm not thinking along the same line and I don't got my local double follow up to it. Because I don't kill sounds playing local music. The idea is you have to be able to put the talent on display. So what's the next show? Queen show? Are we there? Are we there already? Queen show?
Yeah.
Yeah, Queen show.
Running out of time though.
Yeah, 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 yeah. For the Queen
Shanti
show, huh?
Shanti big up yourself, you're totally correct. They ain't got no choice.
Then I got no choice because
No,
if
you
you
don't.
ain't hearing, yeah, they ain't have any choice at all. No, Queen show was I, but it doesn't have the attendance that it used to. So I don't know if like it just doesn't have the attendance that it
Let me
used to.
ask you a question. Do you feel that if the attendees of Queen Show, if there
Hmm.
was something else to do, they would have attended Queen Show?
If there was a fet,
Yeah.
there's some people that would
No,
do it.
there's some. No,
Yeah,
no, no. Of course, you have
I'm,
diehard Queen Show people.
yeah, no, there's
But
some. No, so I feel like it has its place, right? So definitely, people would still attend. I'm not gonna put Queen Show out there as if people don't want to go to Queen Show because there are people who want to go to Queen Show. Um, yeah. So my answer is yes. I think there are people who would still go to the Queen Show. People would still do that. I mean, it's just a display of your talent and your girls. And I'm with the girls, so I would probably go. I would probably go see the young lady. Yeah, you don't know. That's how it goes.
that's
No,
it.
I
That's
would
what it
probably
is.
go see the. I would probably, but it would be nice. It would be nice. It would be nice. But you got to remember the village is there. No, the village needs to be able to play some kind of music at some kind of level, right? Some kind of music at some kind of level, so people could go down there and bang some drinks and them kind of things. Wherever the case may be. Gonna be down there and done a dance and done a party. You know. Um it's kinda hard for you to say you wanna do a fete elsewhere when you also we don't complain about how the vendors, I keep saying the vendors, the boot owners are struggling.
but you can, as long as the committee handicap
Hmm.
them, me not take no blame.
Yeah,
As long as Culturama committee handicap them, I'm not taking no blame.
yeah, can't
So
take any blame.
I would try event that night, and I'm gonna tell them you blame the committee.
Blame it on the committee.
Yeah, of course.
Blame it on the club. 869 handicap the village, and I
Great. Emmanuel said, "Do you feel the balance of shows versus fits is ideal?" No.
no, no, Emmanuel. So I am going to say what Reese has been saying for years, right? I am going to say what Reese has been saying for years. Queen Show needs to be moved off the premiere night of Culturama. Um, I don't even think they really care about Calypso show. We pretend that we care about Calypso show, but Calypso is a dying art form. I don't see enough young people getting involved in Calypso. You may have one or two. I think Suki. You have King King Hollywood's son. You know, I can't remember his name. I don't know. He might have one other person, but so you're realizing you're just seeing the same set of faces in the Calypso arena year after year, right? You have the same set of people being crowned year after year. So it's gonna be this and that, Hollywood, Astro, maybe Bingy. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get nobody else. Nobody else getting the crown. The crown is just gonna rotate. Here it's your turn. Here it's your turn. Here it's your turn. And so you have the same set of people, the same set of faces. What's gonna happen is that once that is the kind of environment that they're creating, nobody's gonna go in. And Calypso show has maybe one more decade if it continues at this pace. You know what I mean? Maybe one more decade because within this decade, this and that can stop sing. Um, you would
Astro
see
already, Astro
Astro
already
say
say
he's
stop sing.
Astro say
This
he
and that
stopped
stop
sing.
sing. He'll probably stop singing. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're gonna have a lot of these faces stop singing. I know. You gotta big up. What your name? J- for Greenhouse Band because he is trying
Jazz.
jazz. He's trying to keep it alive. The Calypso show. He's trying to keep that alive because he's doing the composing and he's doing a lot of work with the youths for
Yeah.
the junior Calypso. Yeah, but there it's not enticing enough. The Culturama committee is not dealing with it like it's
Well,
something
it's not
that they
only
really
that, you know,
care
Eva.
about. It's just a
Not only
tent.
that.
It's just a tent.
We we as younger people, we gravitate towards soca. We
Mm-hmm.
do not gravitate to calypso. So you would see a lot of the younger performers. Eventually, they're gonna join the soca monarch arena. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I can't see them going down the calypso side. I could see them going down the soca monarch arena.
Yeah. Yeah. And like that's what I'm saying. So Calypso show could also be moved after the premiere weekend, right? And now we could invite the Fet, you know. I was able to talk to Boots Griffin, you know,
Okay.
Juve Manning, and his idea is not stray away from our culture, uh, in my opinion, heritage, but use the technology that we have, you know, bring technology in it and see how we can enhance it. So maybe there's avenue there, but I do feel like we have to move some of those shows that we had as the premiere show away, because when I start laming for Culturama, it's all about vibe and party, right? When I decide I want to hear music, Juve Morning, I could remember I used to do this no sleep thing. I ain't got no time for no sleep. I can't miss this. Culturama soon done. Who got time to sleep? I not even interested in last lap right now. You know what I'm saying? How the vibe just saying there.
The vibes
Not
in
even,
there.
the
The
vibe just
vibes
is
in
not
there.
there.
The vibes in there. The party vibes in there. So it's just like for real. Like let me give you a good example. They had the ultrasonic reunion a couple years back. I had wanted to
Hmm.
attend that bad, I had wanted to go bad.
Yeah.
I said, man, I get on for a weekend. This ain't even the big weekend, boy.
Nah, the big weekend.
I said, boy, I can't spend that kind of money. But I had wanted to go bad. I can't spend that
Yeah.
kind of money just to say, boy, me ultrasonic. Can't do, couldn't do it.
Yeah. So if they move wet fat, though, they're gonna have to get rid not wet fat. 5 in 1, they're gonna have to get rid of. They're gonna have to get rid of wet fat.
You think so?
I don't want to go to wet fat on Friday night and then 5 in 1 on Sunday night. Even worse if they put the 5 in 1 first because it's too
Want me to,
similar.
want me to tell you what I would have do? I will
Yeah,
put 5 in 1 Friday night and put wet fit this Sunday night. Wet fit leads into Juve morning and you have a band start from up there. Have band start from the villa.
I don't think I still don't know, man. It's just because wet fat is because okay, 5 in 1 you have the wet, you have the wet, right? You have the wet. So it's like, oh man, this again.
Just
God
I
affects,
do
man.
all you do is
They
go
got
put the same people. And matter of fact, what you do, you bring in one international artist for your wet fit this Sunday to
hmm
start your Juve, and then you put them on the apron right after Juve again. So
mm.
let's say you bring in Kess, you get double work out of Kess.
Oh yeah, that would be a good idea. But I know they're not gonna have any major international artists next year because they're not booking them. They would have had to have them book already.
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. Who ain't book already can't book again,
Yeah,
because I was talking to some partner man down in Tatola, and the man say, "Yo, we in full gear, we ready for next year." Them man done start to send money,
yeah,
So I can tell you that if Navy say start to throw no money yet, that's a problem.
yeah. They gotta wait until closer to Culturama to get their sponsorship check. A lot of these things are things that they're not really like. Why are you waiting so late? You cannot be waiting so late to get a
And
sponsorship check.
especially because it's a competitive time with
How I
so
don't
many
know?
other with so
Yeah.
many other festivals. And like I was saying, St. Martin is last new festival the same weekend too,
Ooh.
called Olichi.
Really? That is so
Yeah,
like that is or leech like Orly and a leech off of
yeah, yeah.
Orly Fest.
No, for real, what I
Lychee.
mean,
Yeah, that is a
you know.
major coincidence.
But I don't give. Oh, we ain't talking with the road match, but I want to talk with the road
No,
match first.
yeah, we're getting into the road match because that's like one of the only fets that we have. But um, before we move on from that, yeah, I don't see how we have this major Culturama 50 coming up, right? And we don't know who the major sponsors are at this point in
Um, Culturama ain't even launched it. That was sponsors, boy.
time. Bye.
You
We
know who
need to
launched
have a
already?
sponsorship.
You know who don't come with the gate? Antigua.
Antigua out. Full
Oh, you
force.
mean?
Mm,
Okay.
go straight.
Antigua come out already, eh? They
Straight.
got to understand there's a lot of competition. And I've said it for years, and people don't realize the biggest competitor to Culturama is an Antigua and Anguilla, eh? It's Music Fest in St. Kitts. So they better beat Music Fest or they get. Are they dead?
Music
Yeah.
Fest because a lot of people going home in June. Who going home again in July?
They
And
go
when you're
they go
trying
only
to,
pick one.
yeah, you're trying to bring people from Because Music Fest is a premier festival now, eh? So
Oh
kudos
yeah,
to the think it's government, right, for that. Over the years, ain't just this government. Over the years, they've really taken that thing seriously, pushed money into it, and look at it now. When you think about like some fest, I kind of think about some fest, and I think about Music Fest, and I'm like, my Music Fest might be a better flex than some fest now, so
definitely,
they have done a good thing. They have done a good thing.
definitely.
They have done a good
So
thing.
they
So big up to them. Big up to them.
so they need to pay attention to that. Music Fest is the biggest competitor. So they need to really and truly the only opportunity they have to have a perfect launch would be at Independence because Independence 40. You're launching
Yep.
Culturama 50. Other than that, they're done.
They're not ready for
Not
that.
dead.
I mean, they do a little thing. Maybe they got the slogan thing ready now.
Mm,
That's not enough. That is
mm.
not enough. That is not enough,
And yeah, so and they need to
bro.
start January 1st. They
Yeah,
need to start pushing things out.
they look like they have an office, They have a Culturama secretariat, so they could actually be working around. They have to be working around the clock, not just during the final
Where you
segment.
say they're working around the clock,
They should be. That's what I'm saying. They
and
should be
this
working
and
around the
that
clock.
and that is what they produce. You're working around the
Yeah.
clock. And
No, I
then
don't know. I said they should be. They should be.
I
But
tell you,
before we go into thing, I wanna big up the ticket lady. She's nice. I can't remember her name right now. I just but they need to fix the ticket booth. The ticket booth is like you have to bend down underneath and looking up, like to get your ticket. Like you got like it's so weird, man. Like just the things that they could
oh,
look at.
yeah, the entrance to the complex is still the same. That smaller entrance.
Yeah, and that's another thing.
That's a problem.
They need to done with this one thing where everybody come in and they scan me and then I go turn around and put up my hand and then they scan me again and then I go through. They're creating a bottleneck when you have
Yeah,
those walk-in scanners. Like I
yeah.
kept an event years ago and it was at a residence and I rented a walk-through scanner. If you have a walk-through scanner, um a X-ray machine, whatever the case may be, for ladies' purse, simple things. Like this is the 21st century right now. We've seen a global pandemic and bounce back, and we still haven't been able to figure out that we need to have a walkthrough scanner at these events so people don't have a bottleneck going through here. Everybody got to stop and turn around and put up your hands and all this thing. Come on, man. Come on. That
Um,
one is for free. That one is
so
for free.
Dalia, Culturama has been fit and for everyone as a player promoter. Yes, I agree. But um, we see carnival a lot of time with private promoters have a major part in carnivals, in terms of the events. And I think it's just something where they just need to speak to the promoter for everyone and see what they could work on. I think that the promoter for everyone is open, and I mean, and I think they should also take in some of his ideas because he has had one of the biggest events in the federation year in year out for the last 5 years. So there's something for them to look at.
Yeah.
I only give them ideas, If they take it, they take it. If they don't take it, they don't take it.
Yeah. Yeah. We see topic said they're gonna be a bit late tonight, so I don't know if you
Okay.
want to
Well,
continue the conversation. Just
yeah,
continue
well,
the
so they're
conversation.
gonna be a little late. Let me continue it. So let me talk about
Yeah.
this road match business.
Go ahead.
Road match was run by a song by the name of Road Match, written by
Yeah.
Scenario Grandma, was performed by Tebulous and Dangles
Mm-hmm.
and the Quaban. The
Okay.
song released about 4 days or 5 days before. The song released in the Heart of Called Drama.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that this song should have qualified for Road Match?
No, I don't even know how they were able to sign up this song. A matter of fact, I
No,
was talking
no,
to some.
Tebulous did. No, Tebulous did say it, when he was here
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
registered the song.
yeah. But that's what I'm
He said that
saying.
they didn't record the song, but he registered the song. Yeah.
Yeah, that should be disqualified. I don't think that's. That's fair. But how as like it how is it that's like that song that sweet? Because I listened to it and I wasn't that impressed, right? And I don't care who vexed with me, right? I wasn't that impressed with the song. So it shows me that the crowd size of Core is what's giving Core the road march right now. And they
Okay,
need to
so
done with the long jam. Wait, hold on. They need to kind of hold back on the long
mm,
jam a little bit. You know what I mean? And it's not shot against Core. What I need is better from Core, the big and the premier band in Nevis. I need you guys to you can't be doing the fans that when I heard Road March, I hear somebody saying Road March, Road March, Road March. I didn't realize there was a song named Road March. I didn't hear this song. Reese. And I guess it's because I never made it to country because when I reached town, I had some car troubles when I began, so I had to deal with that. But that's not fair. That's not fair at all. And that's all I'm gonna say. That's not fair. But big up to Massa Blue and team for winning the road match.
so
Um,
I think
I guess that's how it is. I don't know that.
I think there should be a deadline, right? I
Mm-hmm.
think that if for your song to be eligible for road march, it should be released by X date, and we should have a deadline set. You can't come after this, and that's the first thing. The second thing is roaming judges. That is foolishness. If you
Mm-hmm.
choose to start out there, that's on you. Well, we have judging points. Because if you're telling me we have Roman judges, what are likely when the judges country are Brown Pasha, I mean, if Odyssey playing this song, New Wave playing this song, whoever playing this song, you can't hear them in town. You're losing
Yeah.
points because you choose to accommodate a band. That's
Yeah.
foolishness.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
Roman
You.
judges thing, I totally disagree with.
Yeah.
I totally disagree with it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. You change it to accommodate one particular.
one
I
entity.
wouldn't say a ban. It's the long jam, right? That's what it is. They change it to, and I don't feel like the long jam should be. Even if they want to say they're doing it, they need to cut it shorter. What are your thoughts about coming over from Long Point, jamming from Long Point?
We just I'm a long point. You really want to use long point as a starting point, boy?
No,
Just say it.
I mean,
Just
I
just gotta
felt like
say it.
they could come down the hill if they had the proper vehicle put in front of that. But what's your
Oh,
point? You
I feel they should like the cemetery area, or whatever, is okay.
mm-hmm,
I'm okay with that, but I
mm-hmm,
also feel that the band need to be ready on time and ready to move off on time as well.
mm-hmm,
A couple years back, right, in St. Thomas, the man banned bands from going on the road after 6 o'clock. If you wasn't on the road by 6 o'clock,
mm,
you couldn't go up the road. Police tell you straight
mm.
up, and you can't play. We need to start enforcing that when bands get on the road in a timely manner.
You
So you
might end
don't
up with
have
no
this.
no culture armor.
Yeah, but that's a problem.
Mm.
We have shows that start late, Juve start late, everything starting late. That's a major problem.
So wait, I remember I said I can big up them for what they did right. After the little hiccup with the first show, all the other shows them start on time. Yeah, the man did they pulled up their socks and they got those shows started on time. And they finish in timely manner too. So kudos to them for finding out whatever the problem was and fixing it. But continue.
Now, another thing about this road march thing, like I was talking about these praises. So here is my suggestion, right? To make it a little bit more fun for the band, a little bit more fun for the band and stuff going in. We are surrounded by other festivals that pretty much is around the same time, but they don't end and they choose like we do. For
Mm-hmm.
example, Tatola goes until the Saturday, and Anguilla goes until the Saturday. What I would say is to make it a little bit more sweet for these bands. Whoever wins road match, the Tuesday, they fly to Tatola the Wednesday and perform at Tatola. They fly to Angola for the Friday and they go to Antigua the Saturday. Give them something to compete for. Make it fun. So now they're not just playing to say, I got bragging rights. But it's actually work that they could actually get based on how good they perform.
Mm.
Make it competitive. You got to put things out there. They gotta start putting things out there, make it competitive. Give them a reason to actually invest.
Okay.
You
Okay.
disagree with me?
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea. Um, no, one of the problems I think they're facing with the bands, though, um, yeah, with the bands, I guess they want to pay for everything. You know what I mean? They want to be paid for everything. So in some cases, the bands are missing opportunities for promotion tour. I don't know how that is going to
Where you
work
mean
out.
want where you mean want to be paid for everything?
So you remember they had a band clash,
Mm.
and I don't know if you remember that the band clash ended because the bands then would enter the competition, and because they didn't win our place, they wouldn't get paid. So the bands decided, no, they don't want to clash. They just want to like a band fest, and you just pay them or play. They don't want the competition piece. And I'm like, like that kind of event. Let's say for instance, the bands them say we want to go on the beach. We want to play on the beach, but we want the government to facilitate it. So if the government is facilitating it, paying for the sound system, paying for the generators or whatever you need, you gotta remember it's taxpayers' money. So
Mm.
if you're already getting that facilitation, then you could bend a little bit and say, well, okay, we can just rap the crowd because we're trying to get the music out there. We're trying to build vibes and we're trying to get back fan base because I don't know that a lot of these bands have fan bases anymore, right? So I think that's another thing that I've heard where Reese might say he wanna play on the beach. But Reese also want me put the stage on the beach. Reese also want me put the game, the electric feed or whatever to play down there. But then Reese still wanna get paid. So in some cases when you're going to offer your services, ask them to do certain things, you have to be able to bend a little and say, well, you know what? We're gonna do this gig for free. We're gonna do this gig for half price. Especially if you're the one looking for the blood. It's your idea. You know. What the band could do is got their little drinks, sell their drinks, make some money. You know. You get a little promotion.
Ain't a
You
bad
know.
idea.
But
Ain't a bad idea. Hey, listen. Culturama 15, I'm gonna make a decision. They got to figure out what they're gonna do. They got to figure it out quickly.
for Culturama 50, they need to have hydration stations, right? They need to have hydration stations and and Red Cross tents.
They mean hydration station.
Oh, Reese, it was hot. It was
Yeah, but
terrible. It was crazy.
yeah, but
Water
what you
is what
mean
I'm
like
talking about. Water,
areas
water.
where they giving away water, where you buying
Yeah,
water?
uh, giving away water. You gotta be able to give away water. You know what I mean? Yeah, not everybody could buy water, Reese.
you know,
You know, you got
you know,
you
really
gotta
into
be
anything structure, boy.
you gotta
You're
be
not.
mindful. Not everybody could buy water. I'm talking about Juve,
No, no, that it's
Juve
a good
man.
idea. I
Yeah,
understand what you're saying, but it's not. It is not structured for that.
and they need to have a tent, like different like spots where people could go. And please display the heat advisory because I don't see any heat advisory. I'm in Charlestown. Juve morning, overheating. And if it wasn't like I've done some reading on like signs of heat strokes and these kind of things. And I had to turn to Chevron and I said, look, I gotta get out of Charleston because I overheat, right? It's only when I got out, I made it up to Shamako's barber shop. I had to take off my shirts. I had on more than one shirt. Maybe that's my fault. Another thing I recommend with these bands, these shirts that you're making, the material you're making your shirts out of, they're not breathable for the hot weather. They're keeping people hot. They're stiff. They're stifling. They got dry fit shirts, and I understand at least half a premium shirt for some people. But look into the cotton that you're buying. But I I decided, let me see what the heat look like. 90 degrees, but feels like 110. Now I think the safety, the like human safety range is around 104, 107. I can't remember. It's one of those numbers. Above that, it's unsafe. There was no heat advisory.
Ever, 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 ever. We know the
Hmm?
America. You ever say he that raising you saying his neighbors?
That's a problem. That's why
Yeah,
I'm talking. That's what I'm talking
yeah,
about. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking
yeah, yeah.
about.
You,
Other
you want
countries
me
had a heat
you want me
advisory.
treatment.
Well, you got to expect better, right? We have to go for better. Constantly have the bands and remind the people them to stay hydrated because the place hot. Heat advisory. Drink your water. Fet. Because you have to remember during Culturama, we have a lot of intoxication. A lot of people drinking alcohol. And one of the things that alcohol do is dehydrate you. Now, if I wasn't drinking my alcohol with my little jelly water, I probably would have been gone. You know? But during Culturama, my drink of choice is Hammond and jelly water. And it's about time that we know, well,
Boy,
boy,
rough
Hammond
boy.
and jelly water. You, you ready to go the next day? You ready to go? You never stop. Once you change the drink, that you're gonna need, but once you change the drink, you're gonna need. But Reese, I don't know what the timing. I don't know
Here's
what
a
the
question.
timing is. Well,
Here's the one question I have for you. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate called drama for me.
go ahead.
No,
So,
you were there. You rated it
oh,
for
you
me.
asked me what the scale,
Yeah,
Culturama.
yeah. On a scale of 1 to 10.
Um, okay.
Man, it's a lot of thinking, boy.
Bye. I don't want people like like a
But tell the
four.
truth, 4.
Yeah, like a four. They're like a four. I'm gonna give reasons. I'm gonna give reasons.
But Shanti say sound like a high 4. Hmm. JT
I
say
want to give
4, but
I want to give reasons. I felt like there was no vibe, there was no spirit, no Culturama spirit in the air. The reason why I managed to give it a four is because I managed to have a good time.
you
I
made the best
still
out of
went
it.
out. Yeah, you know what I mean. I came home to Nevis, so the nostalgia is there. I went and look me jelly them. I went and look me ham on. All of that, I good. I enjoy myself. I go out and I have a good time. And I saw people that had a good time. Some people tell you they had 10, because they know how to have a good time. But in terms of when I walk through the place and I look at the walls and I look at the area and I understand what happened with the flags, but the flags is only one part. I think the flags are dated, by the way. I think the whole thing with the streamers in town with those colorful streamers is a bit dated. It can work, give you a little color and a little vibe, but we need to step it up a little more too, right? We need to find other things to do. But it just didn't have that vibe. Like I said, I would walk from Charlestown, Apron, you know, during Juve morning. I'm talking about, and no music up by the the police station. No music up by Tooties and them. No music along the road. Only if the banner pass. during Juve, your street party. The other thing that I find as well too is that this food selection is the same throughout all of the booths. Them you're just getting goat water, Kanks water, um, chicken, goat water, Kanks water, fried chicken, goat water, Kanks water, fried chicken. And I guess that's our culture. But the vendors them now, they're gonna have to start to give us a little more. Uh do a little better with what going on with that goat water, Kanks water, chicken. Yeah,
Okay.
if everybody's selling the same thing. We didn't touch food fair. We need to touch food fair, right? But
No,
that was one of
hold
the
on.
problems I had with food fair.
Before we go food fair,
Hmm.
JT Taylor said once he get a bowl of tree mutton for 50, he good. Gigi said, good luck with that. JT, I got a brethren of mine that don't tell me anytime I land, he got it for me. So if you want some, let me know. I got you. I got you, JT.
So
Yes.
Jetty Taylor, big up yourself and that. You're adventurous person. I will not be
J-
eating any chimotin. I used to want to,
J-
but it was there. It was there. I saw it there. It was there. It was there. They had
JT,
chimotin. Go ahead, Reese.
JT, me and you, JT, me and you. We gonna
Okay.
eat that.
I,
We gonna knock that down.
and I would witness it. I would witness it. I would witness it. I would definitely witness it. Oh yeah, they had cook up too. So yeah, that was the other one. Um, cook up water conks, hot dog. Yeah, hot dog is definitely
Nah, no.
hot dog is there. My child was asking me for hot dog every day, bro. And I was like, God, man. But they had one booth in there that had a different menu. They had rabbit, they had crab, they had tree mutton, as you call it. So kudos to whoever that booth is for
You
kind
see
of trying
that
to switch it up.
that, that rabbit and that tree mutton, wherever put that be a demi there. If you're
Using
looking for
different
me,
menu.
you find me there. A demi there. Good food.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. It is. It is good. It is good. I don't know about the tree mutton. I wanted to eat tree mutton one time in my life, but not now. Not now at all.
No, good. Man, I can't explain this feeling to you, man. Oh,
No,
can't explain
no,
this to you, man.
no. I I wanna say I wanna say I was able to talk to the Minister of Culture during Culturama, right? And yeah, I just felt like he was defensive in some of the cases. I was just asking some questions. I just wanted to know, and I want these ministers in Nevis to understand. I care about Nevis, eh? I care about Nevis. So shout out to the Minister of Culture. We're not here to bash Culturama. We're actually here because I'm pretty sure Reese would like to go home for Culturama 50. Ira would like to go home for Culturama 50, and we want other people to be interested in going home for Culturama 50. So it would be nice if they start taking suggestions from the general public. But in a lot of cases, I've heard also, Reese, that a lot of people don't have anything to suggest, right? So one of the things that I've heard them say that they're going to do is to put a suggestion box in the Culturama
No,
office.
no,
Mhm.
listen. Me got
Uh,
sense.
you got sense.
And because me got sense, me know that if you want suggestions, you know what suggestions. I give you a great example. When Abba was on this show, the 2 times he has been here, a lot of them tune in, you know. So they know that we got suggestions. If they really wanted suggestions, they don't reach out to a long time. They don't really want suggestions. They want to make it seem like they want suggestions, but they want to keep things the same. Me ain't know that.
I mean, we have no monopoly on ideas. So there's other people that they could reach out to. You see how, like, I guess, Wazim has been successful in hosting
Big
a
time,
a huge festival, and yet still
big
they
time.
haven't enticed him to be a part of the Culturama committee yet. Like, what's going on? Oh, where is your FET department? Where's the department that's gonna deal with FET? Oh, but them they're young. All them they wanna do is party, 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 party. Well, sir, the old people are staying home.
Well,
Um, the older people are staying home. The younger people are who you're gonna need to come out. When you used to go to Culturama back in the day, it's because you were younger, and the older people would stay home. I know it's you have reached that level where you're gonna stay home. At one point in time, I will be at home and I would watch my son go out and enjoy himself. And he might have a different thing. He maybe might go back to the days where they want to just watch screen show. Maybe the fets might look totally different where them are run naked in the streets. And I gonna be like, boy, what wrong with these people? But I gonna understand that's what they're into now. You know? I'm not saying
see,
that I'm promoting that, but yeah.
the thing what they don't really pay attention to is they don't pay attention to the fact that we are now living in what is called a global village, where everyone has access to everyone, and people are travel for fete. I don't watch football
Hmm.
soccer cruise and ain't got nothing else than the cruise but fete in here, and people actually spending their hard-earned money to go on this cruise. Yeah. So people want these things. So if people showing that they want these things, if other festivals around you have made changes to their festival to accommodate these things, maybe everybody can't be wrong. There has to be
No.
something else. Right. You know in the
Yeah.
VA, the last when the carnival is no shows.
Yeah.
The carnival committee got set the events in the village, and private promoters got set the events. Every
Mm.
night you got multiple things going on. So when you fly in for the week of Juve, ain't gonna show, ain't gonna Queen show, no panorama and them thing. Yeah? Antigua did the same thing. St. Vincent did the same thing. Trinidad being like that. Talking like Marshall Monday, Kiss on the Rocks, Patrick Sabadaga she said Wednesday.
Mhm.
Destroy back on Friday, leading into the following Monday for Juve.
Mhm.
So if these people understand it, then what is it that we can't get? Or we just want to have a product that we could complain about? Because maybe people like they like when we complain too.
So again, self-interest. And self-interest mightn't just look like, oh, I'm gonna benefit from it, but it also is, I'm the DJ that play music that I want to hear, and not necessarily what the crowd wants to hear. So, um, and I'm not talking about the DJs. That's just like a metaphor, right? I'm more meaning they want to do the events and keep it the way how they want it to be, versus, you know what, let me be a little more open-minded. um we really need to examine what's going on around the region. We have to look at our competitors. We have to really analyze where we are, you know with our tourism product, and how do we compete, right? What's happening? There's a lot of things out there they could use. Analytic data, like you say, they could look at everybody else who has done well, who's made the change. How has that change benefited them? How has that change benefited their tourism product? Are they now seeing a larger influx of people during the time? Is it so? What I'm saying is, take your emotion out of the thing and deal with the data. Take your emotion. Take away the emotions, man. Take away the feeling of control. And you have to control it and allow the festival to breathe. Allow the festival to breathe. So I'm getting word that Alan is ready for the topics. We're just trying to pin down China Wallet, and I think we could zip it up. We could zip it up now, right, Reese? Now,
Yeah, man.
before we zip it up, I would just love to see, for those of who are in the comment area, I just want everyone to just share some ideas of what you would like to see for Culturama 50 and beyond. Because even if we improve for Culturama 50, 51 shouldn't be a dud because 50 was a success.
Definitely should
And
not.
and again, we cannot use the idea that people are gonna be there for Culturama 50. Like the crowds are large, and that means it was a success. Because Culturama 50 is a huge milestone, and just because it's a huge milestone, people are planning to go to Nevis, right? So I can expect that Nevis, and if you plan to go home, start by your ticket now because the flights are gonna be crazy closer to Culturama. But I expect that the crowds are gonna be larger next year. Don't use that as your measuring stick for success. It's nothing that you're doing why people are gonna come home. It's just it's just the idea of, oh, this is Culturama 50. It's it's more of a a Nevis reunion. You know what I mean? You're gonna see a lot of faces that you haven't seen in a long time, and people want to be there. At least let them have a good experience while they're there, right? Reese and I were available for consultation. Reach out to us. We don't mind. We could talk in figures later. Big up yourself, Culturama. We want to see the best for Nevis. And Reese, I'm gonna let you push us out. We're gonna get ready for the topics. We're gonna hopefully,
Yeah, man, that man should be ready to go. Yes, people. Thank you
yeah.
guys for being here with us tonight. Know what I mean? We reviewed Culture Drama. Everyone said it was a four. That's what it is. A couple people say it was a four. With that being said, we just want to see the best. We just
Hmm.
want to see the best for the island and the festival as well. Um, hey, with everything else, no matter how good you could improve, and clearly if it was a four this year, there's a lot of room for improvement. Is what it is. With that
Hmm.
being said, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be the end of the show tonight. The topics is up next. Alan Powered, China Wallet. Them I'm going to be taking you through some real vibes. You know what I mean? So y'all have a good night. Bless.
Stick and stay.
We on the corner, man. We on the corner, man. We on the corner, man. With that real talk. We on the corner, man. With that real talk, real talk, real talk, real talk.
Lotus blossom, don't cry. Without any sun. Lotus blossom, don't cry. Without any sun. Lotus blossom, don't cry. Without any sun. Lotus blossom, don't cry.
Real talk, real talk.